shining a light where the shadows creep, for the lost, the stolen, the ones who will weep. She won't turn away, she won't back down, even when the loony clowns come round. Threats don't shake her, lies don't win. She stands for justice, right till the end. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kids true crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook stream, she'll fight for you. Chase fame, some chase views, but she fights for those with nothing to lose. For the kids who vanish without a trace, she won't stop till she cracks the case. They try to silence, they try to scare, but truth don't break and she's still there, calling out monsters, showing their game. Justice comes when you speak their name. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kids true crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook stream, she'll fight for you. Kids stand strong, she makes the choice. For victims gone, for those in need, she's fighting hard, she won't concede. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kids true crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook streams, she'll fight for you. At the end of the day, this is all we have to say. Viper will always have her back, he will kick you right in the sack.
Well, good morning to you. Oh, hold on. I got to bring up my phone here, make sure my sound is good. Oops. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. What is that noise? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Oh my God! Can somebody tell me, like, if there's some like weird music? Oh my God! Can somebody tell me, like, if there's some like weird music? Oh my God! Can somebody tell me? Okay, we're good now. We're good. We're good. That was weird, you guys. All right. I'm going to talk about this. I want to tell anybody that watches this or comes through here with like negative or coming in here because they don't agree with my every opinion I'll listen to, right? But I have my own, and I'm on my channel, and I can talk about what I want to talk about. And I've been waiting for the documents about this guy. And there's documents from 2019 from Homeland Security, okay, about him having to be deported. There was orders for him to be deported. He's been deported once or twice. Once for sure. And then his wife twice did an order of protection on him for domestic DA. Okay? So please don't come in here all sideways, please, because I'm going to show documents, and that's what I've been waiting for. Does anybody know what this guy, who he is? Anybody? Okay. Hi. Hi. Happy you're here. Okay, this is one man, okay. He came here in 2011, all right. Let's see. He ended up seeing the immigration judge or whatever, but he was told he had to leave the country. He came back to the country. So he's not a US citizen. He doesn't have a green card, but he's got a card that's, what is it? What kind of card is it? It's where he can work here and down the line maybe get citizenship. Okay. But he's gotten into some trouble. So let me get into it. This senator in Maryland went all the way to, okay, so he got taken to CCOT. There's it's a certain thing he got. It's not a work visa, it's something different. But I think the situation is, I'm not 100%. He's from El Salvador. He's a citizen of El Salvador, okay? And I don't know, maybe more will come out during court, but allegedly he wasn't supposed to be returned to El Salvador for his safety. So there's that. But this senator in Maryland, he went all the way to Salvador to talk to the president, to get to talk to this guy at CCOT. Do you guys know what CCOT is? That Supermax prison for MS-13s? Well, he went there for this one guy, right? When Maryland, they got, 10,000 people missing, just saying. And I do want to share this real quick, and I've been saying this to people. What about Rachel? Did you come to Rachel's family when this happened? No, radio silence. Also, I want to bring this up about the senator, because the senator I think he's doing it just all for show. But look at this. This is about the Lincoln. Do you guys know what the Lincoln Riley Act is? This is what he says. This is on his page. We must keep our communities safe and prioritize the detention of violent offenders. I supported amendments in the legislation to directly address the circumstances that led to the terrible unalive of Lincoln Riley, without creating a system that diverts resources away from the detention of violent offenders. Unfortunately, Republicans do not work with us to ensure these amendments, which would have improved the bill, were considered or passed. Now listen, given these reservations, I voted against it. He voted against the Lincoln Riley Act, you guys. He did. Isn't that something? Here, I'll share this with you. You can share it. I'll share it. Where's the link? No, I'm not sharing it there. So, yeah, let's get into this here a minute, because this senator really got on my nerves. All right, we're gonna look this up real quick. Hold on. But yeah, so he voted against it, just so you all know. All right. Hold on. All right. Here's the Lincoln Riley Act. Let's make me little. I'll be little. There we go. Okay, this is the Lincoln Riley Act that he chose not to vote for. Let's listen.
There is one summary for S.
Oh,
5. Bill summaries are authored by CRS. Shown here, introduced in Senate, January 6, 2025. Lincoln-Riley Act. This bill requires the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, to detain certain non-U.S. nationals, aliens under federal law, who have been arrested for burglary, theft, larceny, or shoplifting. The bill also authorizes states to sue the federal government for decisions or alleged failures related to immigration enforcement. Under this bill, DHS must detain an individual who, 1. is unlawfully present in the United States or did not possess the necessary documents when applying for admission, and 2. has been charged with, arrested for, convicted of, or admits to having committed acts that constitute the essential elements of burglary, theft, larceny, or shoplifting. The bill also authorizes state governments to sue for injunctive relief over certain immigration-related decisions or alleged failures by the federal government if the decision or failure caused the state or its residents harm, including financial harm of more than $100. Specifically, the state government may sue the federal government over a decision to release a non-U.S. national from custody, failure to fulfill requirements relating to inspecting individuals seeking admission into the United States, including requirements related to asylum interviews, failure to fulfill a requirement to stop issuing visas to nationals of a country that unreasonably denies or delays acceptance of nationals of that country, violation of limitations on immigration parole, such as the requirement that parole be granted only on a case-by-case basis, or failure to detain an individual who has been ordered removed from the United States.
okay, so you heard that. That's Chris Van Hollen, or however you say his name. Holland. He voted against that. Okay, just saying. I don't know why. Let's protect American citizens. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So we're last. People. So we're going to watch a couple clips here. Hold on a minute. Let me see. Just bear with me, people. So we're going to listen to the comments. Let's see. Okay, let's listen to his wife. We'll get to her.
Brother.
And I'm sure they're sad, right? Okay, I'm sure they're sad, but yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer. I am Kilmar's wife. He is a father, a son, a brother, and a proud member of CASA and Smart Union member who has dedicated himself to make our family's American dream reality. That dream was shattered on March 12th when he was abducted and disappeared by the United States government in front of our 5-year-old child. Today is 34 days after his disappearance, and I stand before you filled with spirit.
Do you listen to these words these people are saying? Disappeared. He did not disappear. You know where he's at. Just saying. You know where he's at. These key words that they say, people, pay attention. To pull at your heartstrings.
That refuses to bring down. I will not stop fighting until I see my husband alive. Kilmar, if you can hear me, stay strong. God hasn't forgotten about you. Our children are asking, when would you come home? And I pray for the day I tell them the time and date that you'll return. As we continue through Holy Week, my heart aches for my husband, who should have been here leading our Easter prayers. Instead, I find myself leading with the Trump administration and the Bukele administration to stop playing political games with the life of Kilmar. Our family is torn apart during this scary time, and our children miss their dad so much. Despite the challenges we continue to face with the U.S. and the Salvadorian government, I hope that the strength of faith and the resilience within us will keep us standing after all the punches we continue to receive. Our ability to fight back against these governments are testimonies to the spirit of fight and restraint that God has given us. We will continue standing strong, and we will never give up on you, Kilmar. Even though my heart is heavy, I find hope and strength in those around me. I felt an overwhelming support from our communities, our brothers and sisters from CASA, leaders and members from SMART, our faith and ally communities who continue to stand with us. And I pray that the same community strength that has lifted me flows through those judges, supporting her to bend the power towards justice. Kilmar needs to come home, and it's time we see how exact this will be fulfilled. Enough is enough. My family can't be robbed from another day without seeing Kilmar. This administration has already taken so much from my children's, from Kilmar's mother, brother.
Good morning, Michelle. How are you? We're just going to go through Kilmar Garcia stuff because I've been waiting for court documents and they finally came out. We're going to watch a few news clips. Now here's his mom or his wife asking for to get Kilmar. Okay. Here are some documents. Here's when she filed an order of protection. These are her words. Okay. Petition for protection. Okay, against Kilmar. When was this? Well, let's read it. I told him to give me his card to pay. He got upset, started insulting me. I only put a few of gas, whatever that means. I only put a few of gas. Once leaving there, he pulled out like crazy. I started recording because I was scared of the way he was driving and because our 1-year-old was in the back seat. In the recording, you can hear him yelling, insulting me, driving extremely fast. This was on 5/4/2021 at 1 o'clock. I don't know what time. I was watching on my laptop and he yelled to turn it off. I told him I wasn't sleepy. He got angry, reached over, shut and threw my laptop on the floor, and the baby started to cry because he was putting pressure on him. My immediate reaction was to push him off us, and then he scratched me on my left eye, leaving me bleeding. That same day at 2 p.m., he came home to say he was going out with a friend. I told him he needed to go out to pick some orders at, I don't know, BJ's. He got angry, started yelling again, to the point he ripped my shorts and shirt off me. I ran to the bathroom. He ran behind me, grabbed me by my arm. I have marks on my left arm as well. Then he left home at 12 p.m., left my car, parked in the neighborhood, and in the morning I asked him for the key. He said he wasn't going to give it to me because he had things to do. I ordered an Uber to leave with my kids because scared of him. Minutes later, he called that our car wasn't there anymore. At that point, I'm afraid to be close to him. I have multiple photos and videos how violent he can be and all the bruises he has left on me. Yeah. This is what I want to show him. Hold on. Oops. Here's the rest of that. So what's this? Hold on a minute, people. So this happened a few times. Describe all past injuries the respondent has caused. In December 2019 and November 2020, hurt me with his work boots. August 2020, hit me in the eye, leaving me with the purple eye. So, yeah. All right, we got more. We got more, people. And I want to say this. Who is this to? I got this court document, but what is it about? Oh, it's about the protective order. Okay, when I was looking at the protective order, oh shoot, I should have brought it up. Shoot. I'm going to look it up. Give me a minute, people. I got to put out facts. Okay, we're going to look at this for the 2021 case. Hold on a minute, please. Okay. I got it. Thanks for sticking with me, people. Okay, this is what happened in one of the cases. I just want to show this. So, okay, this case was filed on 5/5/2021 for DB. The case was closed, but let me tell you what happened. So she got the order, right? And everything he had to do. Then court came on 6/17/2021. It was dismissed. Why? Because she failed to appear. Now, I've had order protections before on my ex, and if you don't show up, there's that, right? And I've had good reasons to. I just go do that. He tried to kill me, so there's that. He sounds like a real man, and he went to prison, by the way. He sounds like a real gem. Well, yeah. Okay, we're gonna watch real quick. We're gonna listen to a few things here, because the news, the way they talk about stuff and the keywords that they use, they act like this guy is like I don't know. We are going to listen to this real quick.
Good afternoon, everybody. I apologize for my tardiness, but I came.
Oh, we're not watching NBC. Listen to me. Okay, we will. Just a minute.
Directly from the Oval, I have some newsy updates to share from the president, which I know you all very much value and appreciate. So let's get to it. The president promised millions of Christians across the country on the campaign trail that he would create a White House faith office when he returned to the White House. And the president and the first lady are honored to, as part of its pledge to produce $50 billion worth of AI. And this is the Trump effect. Minerals and medicines that we need, right? Citizen of Mexico convicted of rape by threat, sodomy with a person under 14 years, and kidnapping in San Jose, California. ICE Houston has arrested a 23-year-old citizen of Mexico convicted of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child in Cook County, Illinois. ICE Houston arrested a 64-year-old citizen of Honduras convicted of murder in Los Angeles County, California. ICE Chicago arrested a 49-year-old citizen of Guatemala convicted of assault and arson in Prince Williams, Virginia, not far from here. ICE Denver arrested a 36-year-old citizen of Mexico who is registered as a sex offender and has been convicted of sexual assault of a child in Lake County, Colorado. ICE Baltimore arrested a 50-year-old citizen of China convicted of sex trafficking in Bel Air, Maryland. And ICE Boston arrested a 46-year-old citizen of Jamaica convicted of 3 counts of rape of a child and 2 counts of indecent assault and battery of a child under 14 in Boston, Massachusetts. President Trump and our administration will not rest until every single violent illegal alien is removed from our country. The safety of the American people is too important to settle for anything less. On that note, the Democrat and media outrage over the deportation of Abrego Garcia, an MS-13 El Salvadorian illegal alien criminal who is hiding in Maryland, has been nothing short of despicable. Based on the sensationalism of many of the people in this room, you would think we deported a candidate for Father of the Year. That's because, unfortunately, many in this country care more about this quote-unquote Maryland father, a legal alien MS-13 gang member, than a Maryland mother and an American citizen who was brutally murdered at the hands of a different illegal alien. Of course, I am referring to Rachel Morin. And if you didn't see yesterday, a Maryland jury found illegal alien Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez guilty of murdering Rachel Morin in August of 2023. She was a 37-year-old mother of 5 who was jogging in an otherwise safe community northeast of Baltimore when this monster ambushed, strangled, and beat her to death before stuffing her brutalized body in a tunnel drain. The Morin family finally got justice yesterday, but they will never get Rachel back. Our hearts go out to Rachel's family, her 5 children, and her mother, Patty, who has suffered the unimaginable loss of her daughter. In case you missed it last week, President Trump signed a national security presidential memorandum directing federal agencies administering federal land on the border to make land available to the Defense Department in a new national defense area. This followed the president's day 1 executive order committing his administration to marshal all available resources and authorities to stop the unprecedented flood of illegal aliens into our country and to obtain complete operational control of the borders of the United States of America.
Okay, hold on. Good morning, KB. How you doing? All right, there's another one I want to watch. Let's see what happened here. Trying to go in order. All this stuff went down.
Hey, I'm good, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Who wants to go first?
I'll ask, do you plan on ramping up the administration plan on ramping up deportations to El Salvador? How many people do you want El Salvador to take to the United States?
Well, as an example, there are thousands of either trained Nicaragua members left in this country or their affiliates and associates. So obviously some portion of those will be going to El Salvador as part of our effort to eradicate this foreign terrorist organization from the United States. But there's no upper limit to the agreement. We're going to continue to send foreign terrorist aliens to El Salvador as well as to many other countries.
I'll
Thank you first.
Is the president asking President Bukele today to send Mr. Abrego Garcia back to the U.S.?
Again, to be very clear about this, the Supreme Court ruled that the district court cannot, obviously, compel us to conduct diplomacy or foreign policy with another nation. So they overturned the district court order. They said very clearly that the district court, it was actually a unanimous ruling, overreached in that ruling. I'm not going to reveal any head of state conversations or conversations at the State Department or at the lower level. But the important point that we all agree on is that he's an El Salvadorian. That is his country of nativity and citizenship. He is an illegal alien in the United States. He has no lawful right to be here. He was issued a final order of removal from this country. And so it's up to El Salvador and to the government and the people of El Salvador what the fate of their own citizens is. We can't extradite citizens of foreign countries to our country over the objection of those countries. Obviously, to do that would be a monstrous violation of international law. We can't go into other countries and kidnap their citizens and then take them back into our country. That's up to El Salvador. It's their own.
To send him back, right?
But it's their own citizen, right? So remember, this whole entire conversation has been wrong from the beginning because nobody was mistakenly deported anywhere. That's like the big fact that most of you have gotten wrong. No one was mistakenly sent anywhere. The only mistake that was made is a lawyer put an incorrect line in a legal filing and has since been relieved of duty. He is El Salvadorian. He is an illegal alien. He was deported to El Salvador. I would welcome anyone here to tell me what country they think we should be sending El Salvadorian illegal aliens to.
Didn't a judge order that he not be deported to El Salvador 5 years ago?
So what you're referring to is an immigration judge. So that's Article 2, not Article 3. So there's no Article 3 restraint on his removal. A withholding order or a cancellation of removal order, first of all, as I'm sure you know, does not eliminate the deportation order, right? We all agree on that. So his status was he's an illegal alien who's been ordered deported, which means he can be indefinitely detained and removed to any other country in the world, right? He can be sent to literally any country on the face of the earth. But the preference, general matter, is to deport someone to their home country, right? In this case, El Salvador. Because he is a member of a foreign terrorist organization, withholding orders don't apply to FTOs for obvious reasons. So if you had an illegal alien, say from Syria, who's a member of ISIS, they can't apply for withholding of removal. So that principle applies here. Furthermore, the gang that he said was going to persecute him, so this theory that he's an MS-13 and there's this rival gang, the 18th Street gang, doesn't exist anymore in El Salvador. So the entire concept is false. But again, when the media talks about the idea that there was a mistake in removal, it implies to, I think, a normal listener, the wrong person was sent somewhere. He's an illegal alien from El Salvador. Where was he sent? To El Salvador. Where does he belong? In El Salvador.
Right? It's
He
different
belongs.
sending someone home and sending them into a prison that they could remain.
It is up to El Salvador how to handle the process for their own citizens. Again, what you seem to be asking us to do is to change the government and the laws of El Salvador. So if we deport somebody back to, for example, Syria, should we be closely involved on a day-to-day basis with the Syrian government, detailing that person's life and future? If we deport, say, 100,000 people back to Haiti, should we open a case file on each of those 100,000 people and ask every day, what's their housing situation? What's their healthcare situation? What might they need? What might they want? Once someone's out of our country, that becomes the problem of their host country, not our country.
Okay.
These people chose to invade us. So there's a lot of...
All right. I'm going to show this. Excuse me. This is what the president of El Salvador said. Let's see.
At El Salvador's sole discretion was sent back to our country that we could deport him a second time.
Well,
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it per the court can only be directed to him.
I asked
¿Usted lo liberaría, Presidente Bukele?
President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm also not suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States.
It's only
How
here.
can I return him to the United States? Like, if I smuggle him into the United States, or whether of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So you could release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing. I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. We just turned the murder capital of the world to the safest country in the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? And that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal,
Yeah,
released into
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it. But
Yeah.
they're sick. These are sick people. Mark, do you have something?
Oh my God. The things that come out of his mouth. Okay, so that's what the president of Salvador says. And from my understanding, if I could find the clip, he says that he's an MS-13. And I will say this, the man is, the president of El Salvador, he would know, right? He's locking those people up. So, okay, this is what we're going to do next. We are going to listen to this real quick. No. This is the Maryland senator I'm talking about.
So
he went to El Salvador. He just showed up there trying to get Kilmar out of there. It don't work like that, even though I know it don't work like that, right? You got to call, make an appointment. Who paid for this trip? And he's staying there, people. He wants to talk to Kilmar. I'm totally shocked. Here you got this family 2 years ago about Rachel. And he never came to the family and never helped them. Just saying. Even my ex's family, formerly associated with cartel for over 32 years, agree with deportation. A lot are. Okay, let's listen to this silly senator, because he just showed up there thinking, he's a boss.
they illegally abducted Mr. Abrego
He was
Garcia
not abducted.
from Maryland and sent him to CICA, which is a notorious prison here in El Salvador. In fact, it's a prison where they say they send the worst of the worst, right? That's where they send the terrorists. Now, the courts of the United States have said there's no evidence to support the charge that he's part of MS-13. So I asked the vice president whether or not El Salvador has any evidence that he's part of MS-13 or has committed a crime.
mañana el vicepresidente vio esto y El Salvador tiene pruebas de que el señor Abrego García sí.
So I asked the vice president if Abrego Garcia has not committed a crime, and the U.S. courts have found that he was illegally taken from the United States, and the government of El Salvador has no evidence that he was part of MS-13. Why is El Salvador continuing to hold him in CCOT?
That ain't true. I heard him in an interview saying that he was affiliated with them. The president of El Salvador, shoot, I wish I have it.
Entonces, si no hay pruebas que muestre el señor Abrego García de que dentro de ilegalmente en los Estados Unidos o que él sea miembro de la MS-13, porque en las cortes de los Estados Unidos no hay evidencia, entonces, ¿por qué es que no lo libera?
And his answer was that the Trump administration is paying El Salvador, the government of El Salvador, to keep him at CCOT.
Su respuesta fue que el gobierno de El Salvador le está pagando. El gobierno de El Salvador está recibiendo un pago por mantener al señor Abrego García en El Salvador.
And I pointed out that neither the government of El Salvador nor the Trump administration has presented evidence to support the claim that he's committed any kind of criminal acts.
Okay. I say otherwise. We just looked at one court docket. We are going to look at the Homeland Security one here in a minute. So they are putting legal documents out, which I've been waiting for.
And so why not release Abrego Garcia today? And he said what President Bukele said the other day at the White House, which that El Salvador can't smuggle Mr. Abrego Garcia into the United States. And I said, I'm not asking him to smuggle Mr. Abrego Garcia into the United States. I'm simply asking him to open the door of CCOT and let this innocent man walk out.
Innocent man, what is going on here? Here he is in another country, dogging America. This is weird, you guys. This is so wrong on many levels. This don't make sense to me. Is this, I hate to say this, is this a political thing with this man? I'm going to see when their election is, because this is sick. And I don't mean just because of Kilmar, okay? Because of what he's saying here. This is sick. You can't just show up in another country. Has anybody seen CCOT? He's not going to get close to that prison, okay? There's no way. No way.
And I pointed out that the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, has said that the United States would send a plane to El Salvador to pick him up. And why did she do that? Because the Supreme Court of the United States, in a ruling of 9-0, has said that the Trump administration has to facilitate his return to the United States.
Okay, what that means, facilitate. It depends how you want to take it. But like they said, a plane. They'll send a plane. But they said that he will be detained. If he does come back, he's going to be detained and deported. That's what they said, not mine, not my words.
Now, there's no evidence that the Trump administration is complying with that order. There's no evidence that they're complying with that order. In fact, the United States Embassy here has told me they've received no direction from the Trump administration to help facilitate his release. So the Trump administration is clearly in violation of American court orders.
Así que claramente la administración de los Estados Unidos está en franco incumplimiento con las órdenes de los Estados Unidos.
But that still leaves the question, why is the government of El Salvador continuing to imprison a man where they have no evidence he's committed any crime and they've not been provided any evidence from the United States that he's committed a crime?
Y entonces la pregunta que resto por preguntar es,
Yes, there is.
So they should just let him go.
entonces deberían liberarlo, dejarlo ir.
And they should let him go. And we will find a way to get him from San Salvador to Maryland, the state of Maryland.
Deben de dejarlo ir y nosotros encontrar una manera.
Okay, I don't
Because I
need to
promised
say
his
anything.
wife Jennifer,
Look at this guy. He knows, okay. He knows he looks like a fool. Look at his posture. Just saying, people.
and
Yo le prometí a su esposa Jennifer,
and his mother and his brother
a su madre y a su hermano,
and their family,
y a
because
toda la familia,
he has 3 children.
porque él tiene 3 hijos.
Some of them have severe disabilities.
Algunos de ellos
Okay.
tienen problemas.
I promised them that I would do everything I could to get him out of CCOT.
Y yo le prometí a ellos que iba a hacer todo lo que estuviera en mis manos para sacarlo.
And I won't stop trying, and I can assure the president, the vice president, that
Okay. I gotta put this out there. What did you do for this mother of 5? She's a mother of 5. You never came to the family. People don't know this is Rachel Morin from Maryland. She was brutally unalived in ARD and a bunch of other horrible stuff, and left in a drain by an illegal that went on to commit other crimes against women and a little 12-year-old. So there's that. That was in Maryland. And he ran off to California.
I may be the first United States senator to visit El Salvador on this issue, but there will be more, and there will be more members of Congress coming.
Oh, Jesus.
El Salvador, que tal vez soy el primer senador que ha venido para tratar este asunto, pero puedo asegurar que van a venir muchos.
This is an unsustainable and unjust moment, so it cannot continue this way.
Este es un momento que no es sostenible, no puede continuar de esta manera.
I also told his wife and family that I would try to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia while I was here.
También le prometí a su esposa y a su madre que iba a tratar de reunirse con la señora Abrego García mientras estuviera aquí en el país.
So I asked the vice president if I could meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia.
Así que le pregunté al presidente si podía reunirme con el señor Abrego.
And he said, well, you need to make earlier provisions to go visit CCOT.
Y él me dijo que tenía que hacer ciertos arreglos previos para poder
I said, I'm not interested at this moment in taking a tour of CCOT. I just want to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia.
See, that don't make sense. And he get close to that, okay? And when people do go to that prison, from what we have seen, you don't get to talk to anybody.
He said he was not able to make that happen.
Y él me dijo que no estaba dentro de sus posibilidades hacer que eso sucediera.
I asked, he said he did need a little more time.
Me dijo que necesitaba más tiempo.
I asked him if I came back next week, whether I'd be able to see Mr. Abrego Garcia.
Yo le pregunté que llegaría por la próxima semana, que entonces sí voy a poder tratar con el señor Abrego García.
He said he couldn't promise that either.
Y me dijo que eso tampoco lo podía hacer.
So I asked him if I could get on the phone, either a video phone or just a phone, and talk to Mr. Abrego Garcia.
Entonces yo le pregunté que si podía hacerle una llamada telefónica, ya fuera una videollamada o por teléfono con el señor Abrego García.
So I could just ask him how he's doing so I could report back to his family.
Solamente para saber cómo está y poder reportar nuevamente que estaba con él.
He said he could not arrange that.
Y me dijo que no podía hacer arreglos para eso.
He said maybe if the American embassy were to ask, maybe that could happen.
Me dijo que si tal vez la embajada americana lo pidiera, tal vez entonces podría suceder.
So I will certainly ask the American embassy to ask the government of El Salvador to connect us by phone.
Así que yo también voy a hacer para
I asked him, how about his family? How can he talk to his wife so that she can hear his voice?
Y también hice la pregunta de qué puede hacer la familia, su esposa, para poder hablar y que ella escuche su voz.
I let him know that the family has requested that.
Y le dije que la familia ha solicitado eso.
He said he was not sure whether he could make that happen.
Y me dijo que no estaba seguro que pudiera.
So we have an unjust situation here. The Trump administration is lying about Abrego Garcia. The American courts have looked at the facts. In fact, the Trump administration lawyer, the government lawyer, admitted to the court that Mr. Abrego Garcia had been mistakenly taken in administrative error, that it was a mistake.
Why don't you tell the rest of that? Why don't you tell the rest of that?
But instead of fixing the problem and addressing that injustice, do you know what the Trump administration did? They put that lawyer, who's a 15-year veteran of the Department of Justice, on administrative leave.
That's right.
And berated that lawyer who told the truth to the judge. So I want to just close by reading you what the judge said. This is a federal district court judge in the District of Maryland. And I'm quoting from Judge Zinnes here. As defendants acknowledge, and the defendants here are the government, the Trump administration. They had no legal authority to arrest him, no justification to detain him, and no grounds to send him to El Salvador, let alone deliver him into one of the most dangerous prisons in the Western Hemisphere.
Jesus.
The judge went on to say, and I quote, having confessed grievous error, the defendants, and again, that's the government, that's the Trump administration, having confessed grievous error, they now argue that this court lacks the power to hear the case, and that they lack the power, the court lacks the power to order Abrego Garcia's return. So a U.S. district court judge has ordered the Trump administration to bring him home.
Oh, God.
The United States Supreme Court, by 9-0 vote, has ordered the administration to facilitate his return. So the Trump administration needs to obey the law. But I'm also asking the government of El Salvador and the president and vice president of El Salvador not to keep a man who was illegally abducted from the United States and charged with no crime to remain in CICA, when as a sovereign country, they have the power to let him go and let him go now. And I hope they will. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know about his health status. That's exactly why I wanted to meet with him directly. That's why I wanted to talk to
Okay.
him on the
I've
phone.
had
That's
enough
why.
of this guy. Okay, that's a senator in Maryland. I don't understand what he's doing, but okay. So now we're going to go to the Homeland Security court. Here, we're going to go to the court dockets here. So bear with me. Okay? They're not in order. Hold up. He was on bond here. What's this about? April 2019. The respondent is a native and a citizen of El Salvador. On March 19th, DHS reserved the respondent with a notice to appear, which set forth the following factual allegations. The respondent is not a citizen of the United States. He is a native and citizen of El Salvador. He arrived in the United States at an unknown place at an unknown date. He then admitted or paroled after an inspection by the immigration officer. According, the respondent was charged with removable as an alien present in the United States without being admitted or paroled, or who arrived to the United States at any time or place other than designed by the Attorney General. The respondent was held by DHS, April 2019. All right. Oops. Let me make this bigger. When was this? 3/28/2019. There's Kilmer's name. Okay. So he had $1,178 on him. March 2018 or 28th. The Prince George County Police Gang Unit made contact with two suspect illegal aliens whom they had validated as an active MS-13 gang members. ICE officers responded to 56 Rhode Island Avenue in Maryland. Upon arrival, met with task force officer, detective, and he stated that a later identified as Kilmer and Dominguez and Jose, okay, there's 4 of them, detained in connection to an unalive investigation. Allen then approached the subject, identified themselves as immigration and custom enforcement officers, and questioned them about their citizenship. Okay. The subjects freely admitted being citizens and national El Salvador by birth, and that they were present in the United States illegally. The subjects were not in possession of any immigration documents that would allow them to remain in the United States. At approximately 19:30 hours, the subjects were arrested and transported to Howard County Detention Center for overnight placement. The subject was transported to the Baltimore field office for possessing without incident. Okay, that was from the deportation officer. Where's the first page? Am I missing the first page? No. Here we go. All right. Okay. Kilmer, a citizen national of El Salvador, Kilmer claimed to have walked across the desert for many days, entering illegally in the United States near McAllen, Texas, on or about March 25th, 2012. Possessing information. Fingerprints and photographs were entered into the database and returned with immigration and criminal history below. Immigration history. Record check showed that Kilmer had no immigration history and received I don't know what those numbers mean, as a result of apprehension. Maybe I should have read this before it came live. What does that mean? I don't know. Immigration charge. Kilmer had made no claims to the USC or LPR and is amendable to removal under, the Title Act. Okay, that's what that is. Immigration and Nationality Act as amended. Kilmer is an alien present in the United States without being admitted or paroled, who arrived in the United States at a time or place that are designated by the Attorney General. Issues. Humanitarian issues. He's in good health. He was given the opportunity to make one free call. He made a call to blank and remained for 5 minutes, claiming he was in fear to return to his country. Okay, Senator of Maryland, here's some proof here. Gang validation. per Prince George County gang unit. He was validated as a member of MS-13. Subject was identified as a member of the, oh my God, MS-13 from the Western Clique of transnational criminal street gang. This information was provided by blank, who was provided truthful, accurate information in the past. And they brought out a gang sheet. Kilmar has gang affiliation. Subject states that has no information about gangs or human drug smuggling. Kilmar was advised of his rights to speak to a consular office of his native country, which he declined for fear of returning to his home country. A notice to appear is being executed, Kilmar, of the Immigration Nationality Act. And from my understanding, he never showed up for his thing. I'm allowed to have my opinion. I've been attacked big time for my comments, and they're not mean comments, but boy, am I getting attacked. I'm just saying facts. I'm not disrespecting the family or anything like that. I don't understand why people act like that. But that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for these court documents. And it proved several times all the DV he did to his wife. Who knows how many? She talked about 4 or 5 separate occasions, okay? And then these court documents that Maryland and everybody else says that are not out there, because there was orders for him to be detained and shipped wherever, okay? So there's that. I'm going to go for now. I just want to keep this an hour, no longer. So there's that. So there's that, people. And thank you for watching.